Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. After doing a bit of deep diving, internet sleuths were able to uncover the identity of Todd Chrisley's cellmate at the Pensacola Federal Prison Camp. So who is the disgraced reality TV king currently bunking with behind bars? Turns out, Todd Chrisley's cellmate behind bars at the Pensacola Federal Prison Camp is a man named William Rick Singer. Now, Rick Singer doesn't have the same celebrity status as Todd Chrisley. He, however, did make headlines as the mastermind behind the Operation Varsity Blues college admissions bribery scandal. In January of this year, Rick Singer received a sentencing of 3.5 years behind bars in federal lockup. CNN reports Todd Chrisley's new cellmate was at the center of a massive college admissions scam. The scam involved wealthy parents paying huge bribes to sidestep standardized tests and influence university staff that had a hand in college admission. Per his BOP file, Rick Singer is scheduled for release on January 29, 2026. So he and Todd could be bunking for a few years. In chatter on Reddit, some Chrisley knows best fans admit the irony of Rick having such a light sentence compared to Todd doesn't escape them. Another fan chimed in pointing out that many people came forward to tell Todd and Julie Chrisley to take a plea deal, including Bravo's Joe and Teresa Giudice. Because Todd and Julie opted not to take a plea deal and maintained their innocence, the judge threw the book at them with their sentencing. In chatter on Reddit, fans agree Todd Chrisley's exposure to Rick Singer and other famous inmates will go to his head. Fans fully expect Todd to brag about some of the individuals he spent time with during his time behind bars. The original fan who brought up the bragging on Reddit explained, Todd is going to sashay out of there, bragging about all the slightly famous white-collar criminals he did time with. Just like he bragged about having Usher and Chipper Jones living in their neighborhood. Todd Chrisley is reportedly looking worse for wear as he cannot color his hair or continue to get his beloved Botox. Unfortunately, fans have not been able to get eyes on Todd. Even his mugshot is under lock and key right now. During Savannah Chrisley's interview with mental health advocate Patrick Custer, Savannah identified how she sought attention. In many ways, she says that being in the spotlight, she began to push herself into perfectionism. She wanted to be better than her brothers. Better in school, better in activities, and just better all around. This led to a lot of pitfalls along the way. She said that at first, it would get her attention from her parents, but then it eventually just became the expectation. Savannah Chrisley discussed having to be on most of the time, always needing to be funny for the show. Patrick asked her about how her dad was off camera. She has many endearing reflections of him being close to her and credits that he is probably the reason she is still here. On the downside, she also admitted their close relationship was truly codependency on each other. Unsure about the timeline, Savannah Chrisley discussed how when she was about 15 or 16 years old, she had attempted suicide. Savannah believes it was about the same time the family began filming their first USA Network reality TV series. She spoke about how in many ways she had blocked out many things during that time due to trauma. Savannah Chrisley recalls that she told the doctors she was fine to avoid being kept longer. And while she wasn't okay, she resumed filming almost immediately. The fast track back to being in character took its toll. According to People, Savannah recounts, "I just kind of remember masking over. Like I was fine," she added. That was just like a hiccup. I'm fine. I'm not crazy." Savannah Chrisley gives a lot of credit to her parents for showing up and being present with her through these struggles. She said her dad, Todd Chrisley, spent countless hours by her side. He shared many of his traumatic trials to usher her through. She said he would say things like, "Hey, I'm not this perfect person you've always thought I am. I've gone through stuff in my life too. I've had trauma. I want you to feel comfortable." Savannah Chrisley gave some insight into how she has continued through her struggles. She said after one attempt, "I suffered from really bad depression, and I remember that next morning waking up and there being a devotional that my dad had gotten in his email from Joel Osteen. And that's why I speak so highly of Joel, stated that through whatever hardships and adversities you go through, God's gonna turn around and use it to your advantage." Instantly, she felt like she woke up and switched from anger with God to acceptance. As some fans are learning for the first time, Lindsay Chrisley was legally adopted by Todd's wife Julie as a young adult. Lindsay tells her listeners she was 19 when she made the decision to get legally adopted by Julie. On this week's episode of her podcast, she shared her feelings on being adopted as a young adult and fessed up on whether she thought she made a mistake or not. Looking back, Lindsay Chrisley realizes now she was going through a bit of an identity crisis between the ages of 17 and 19. She admits she felt a real lack of belonging anywhere, and it was largely because she was being raised by Todd and Julie, but she was doing so alongside children they created together, so she felt like a bit of an outsider. Lindsay Chrisley hoped that having Julie legally adopt her would make her feel more like she was part of the family. Todd Chrisley's daughter had pretty high hopes for the adoption, as she thought it would wash away her abandonment issues, and that just isn't what the outcome was. In fact, Lindsay admits Julie adopting her as a young adult just made things even more complicated. Turns out, Lindsay Chrisley wishes she would have gotten some therapy prior to going through the adoption process. She went on to explain that she believes the therapy would have allowed her to benefit more from Julie adopting her. Lindsay Chrisley wanted it to be abundantly clear she was not saying she regretted Julie adopting her as a young adult. She just wished she would have put a little more work into getting therapy and educating herself beforehand. If she had done that, she thinks she would have gotten more out of the experience. She added as she doubled down on wanting to make it crystal clear she did not regret it. Again, glad that I made the decision. Don't have regrets, because the last thing I want is for people to go online and say, oh well, she regrets this decision. No, I do not regret the decision. Did you know that Julie Chrisley legally adopted Lindsay? Do you understand why she wishes she had gotten a bit of therapy beforehand? Share your thoughts with us in the comments down below. And keep coming back for more Chrisley news. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Days of Our Lives Gossip YouTube channel for more update news.